Hey guys, and welcome back to another Hof Bergmann explained video. So the tricks of this map just keep on coming. Today we're going to take a look at the grain dryer. Now this little apparatus is basically across the street from the farm, pretty much the same general location as the compost bunkers that we took a look at earlier this week. There we have our silo, we have our big bag maker, and we have the fuel tank that we put some fuel in when we were making biofuel. Now, we happen to have a few of our biogas tanks here with us, and that is because the grain dryer is operated by biogas. So we need to provide basically a biogas tank to the grain dryer in order to dry wheat, barley, oat, or rye. And continuing the trend with lots of other areas on the map, what do we have here? We have a gas bottle storage rack. So we can store 32 bottles of gas in this rack. Way cool. We just need to take our bottle over here and just deposit it right there. So for the sake of demonstration, we're just going to chuck some bottles in there. So once we've got some bottles in here, what we're going to do is we need to come up here and we need to open the bottle storage rack. And then we can go into the gas bottle storage menu and we can pop out one bottle. And there it is. Let's go ahead and close our rack back up. And then what we need to do, we need to take our bottle of gas and put it over here. And then it basically is instantly hooked up to the dryer. And now we need to put wheat, barley, oat, or rye into the gas dryer or the grain dryer. So how do we do that? Well, you can see inside of this shed here, you really can't bring a trailer in here. Plus, the receptacle is kind of up high. So we need to bring our good old buddy back out. The auger, the Ken Agro, and basically get this thing positioned. And we'll go ahead and extend the pipe. As far as it'll go. And we'll put it down, and then what we need to do is we need to turn this thing on. B. So now it is running, as you can see. We have our trailer loaded full of wheat. And we have to come at this from the side because the auger has that hitch on the front of it there. So then we will unload. Like so. And we are now putting wheat into our grain dryer. We can even see we have a fill level indicator window right there. I really wish you could fold that hitch and then basically come at it from the side or from the rear as opposed to kind of having to hit it from the side. It just make it a lot easier. As I said, you can see we have the nice fill window there showing the fill level. As we are putting product into it. And what we want to do now is we want to turn on the grain dryer by hitting I. We see the button there turn green, and we hear the flame running. And we now have a little display on our kind of gas valve there saying 50, because it is now representing how much gas is in the tank. A nice fan blowing there. This holds about 30,000 liters, it looks like. And now we are basically drying our grain. So let me get this stuff cleared out of the way, and I'll bring you back once we have some grain dried up. Go ahead and speed up the clock. And there we go. We have now dried all 14,000 liters worth of grain. You see we've consumed a little bit of our gas. We have 58% left in our gas bottle there. And we now have dried grain. So if we come up here and we look at the F1 menu, you see that we can left click and we can fold the pipe. So it starts out folded off to the side here, and I unfolded it for the screenshot. But what we want to do is we want to left click to fold the pipe out. And then if we have a small enough trailer, like we have right here, we can just back this and get our dried grain. Now you might ask yourself, what do we need to do with dried grain? Well, dried grain is very, very valuable. Let's go ahead and roll on over here to the dried grain area. So we have grain dried. And you'll see that the malt factory would like to buy our dried grain. The Raffenstein will pay really good money for our dried grain in big bags. So remember, we had wheat. So it's $1,459 per 1,000 liters of dried wheat, dried grain. We can only get $609 per 1,000 liters for wheat. So drying it into dried grain is very, very profitable. So as we have demonstrated in the compost video, we could, if we wanted to, take and put dried grain in our big bag maker up there, and then produce 2,000 liter bags of dried grain. Take those down to the Raffenstein, put it in the lift, and basically sell one at a time our 2,000 liters of bagged grain. 14,000 liters would make 7 bags worth of dried grain. Not that bad, but it is a little bit of a time involved. You can see if we come over here, we can store dried grain in our silo. So if we wanted to make up a bunch of dried grain and keep it around until we had a really, really nice price, we could go ahead and do that. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and drive this trailer load up to the malt factory and basically sell 14,000 liters of dried grain to the malt factory. So in the event that you haven't seen the video on spent grain, you may not know where the malt factory is. Well, it's up here beside field 25, kind of the end of the road, just past the greenhouses, past the genetics place, past the slaughterhouse. We have the malt factory. So we'll just come on in here, and this is where we're going to make our fortunes. Remember, we only get 600 and some dollars per 1,000 liters right now for wheat. But we're going to be getting $1,900 per 1,000 for dried grain. All we had to do was basically put it in a grain dryer, hook it up with a bottle of propane. I call it propane. Hook it up with a bottle of biogas, and let a little time lapse, and boom, $20,000. Now, I would be remiss to not mention that you could buy, if you wanted to, you could buy a gas cylinder of biogas, $40 for 50 liters. You could buy that down at the shop. But if you're running the BGA, then you might as well just make your own. So guys, that is how you do the grain dryer, how you make dried grain here on Hof Bergmann version 1.0.08. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of our series here? We are kind of wrapping it up. Not a whole lot going on. We're going to cover some hay drying and hay storage loft, as well as some straw storage in tomorrow's video. The following video after that, we will probably go over silage production at the main farm. There's a couple different silage bunkers and a silage fermenter at the main farm. And until next time, happy farming.